Hello there, welcome back. It's Gann Journeyman here. So back in August of 2020, I created a video called "The Price Action Polarity Swaps Using the WD Gann Emblem Theory Explained," the longest title known to man on YouTube. And I'll link the video here, either in the video or it'll be in the description. But it's on the channel, so you can find it. And I was calling for a pullback on the 19th of August, and then a buy signal coming in on the 22nd of September of 2020. And so using just the geometry alone for time pivots, here's how it played out. We definitely had our turnaround here on the 19th, and we did have an excellent buy signal fired off on the 22nd, and then followed by the next signal to sell on the 20th of November of 2020. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is look how incredible the geometry worked, but B, just some caveats that maybe are some things that you might want to think about if you're going to use this to trade, just as like a fair warning, right? So like, this is the way I look at it is like, this is the ripple effect where you drop, a rock in the pond and then it ripples out, and the closer you are to the impact zone or where that actual rock hit the water, you'll have the highest waves, and then as it goes out, it kind of gets more calming effects on the water. It's not as violent. And so that's the way I feel about this Gann emblem, is if you can get a square off, it's going to be very accurate. And I mean, the time frame that this covers is well over a year, right? So if this is from 2019 all the way up till 2020, so about a year's time between the two, and very accurate. So what I'm going to show you next is if we do another iteration of this and bring it out, to the third level, the fourth level, the fifth level, how it actually played out now that we have all the data. And I figured now is as good time as a good time as ever to show this. And just something to think about. Alright, so let's do the next Gann emblem. That's the next level up. And going to look at this, remember these were the buy points. So buy, this is the sell side, so sell, which that sell was great. But if you would have just stayed with it until the time frame, you would have lost a little bit of the gains there. Still would have had a net positive trade. Then if you would have bought here and went up, that would have worked out, extremely well. So anytime I see the past working well and aligning, I feel like the future aligns well. And so when you go back and look on this side, here was the buy point. I mean, it's pretty good. You would end up getting in around maybe 127 to 130. And then it continued to fire off until it hit 400. Look, sold. So there you go. That was the take profit zone, obviously. Looking back at it now, but back then, what do? Do you have to set your rules? Do you follow the trend line here, and when that breaks, you get out, or everybody's got to make their own decisions on how they exit it. If you would have waited for time on this one to exit, it wouldn't have been as great for you. So this was the sell point right here. Came in around the 27th of May. And that's what I was saying. The geometry worked great in the past, but you kind of have to use a little bit. I don't know if you can rely on it solely, is my point. Like, it gives you a really good gauge of when to look at things, but can you follow it to a T? The smaller circles said yes. This bigger circle says not quite. Because the exit here would have been roughly 27th. So you would end up exiting around, if you would have just did time alone, 176. So you got in, around 130 to 176. Not as good as if you would have exited at 400, right? So just keep that in mind. So let's do the next iteration out from this impact zone. So now we see this is our sell side. The buy here at the bottom, which would not have worked out well because it just kind of fell over and ran down. So that right there just lends to, or speaks to me saying, okay, well, if this geometry didn't work on this side, there's a probability that matches that it's not going to work on this side. And when you look at it, so this would have been the buy, right? So that's good. You'd have made some profits, but if you didn't take profits and you were playing just time alone, that would have been the sell, which is like right at lows or near lows. So that now, pointed me toward, okay, so we had 3 circles coming out that all said, this line here was the buy line. Anytime, that square touched, that was a buy point. And this was a sell point. Well, on this 4th iteration, is this now the buy point? Did it reverse polarities? So 3 were one way, and then the next 3 will be the opposite. I mean, personally, I'm going to show you the next level out, but I would have probably stopped with that and just redrawn, a square out from the next pull. So, like, from this point to this point, square it out with the same tool and use it to forecast pivot dates, right? But interestingly, we went right back to circle center and pushed out. All right, so let's go look at this last iteration of it. And it's really getting so far off the charts. I'll do a part 3 just to kind of talk about this last piece, but I'm not adding any more to this chart. This will be done after part 3. Now we can start a new one, but as far as this specific chart off of this impact zone, it's done. So if the polarity flopped and this is now the buy, that means that the next edge of the square is going to be the sell, which comes into actually March. So March 4th, Pi Day of 2023. So that would be the sell if polarity's flopped. So we'll make a video sometimes, or I'll make a video sometime around there, and we'll see where we're at. And then if that is true and polarities have flopped, so that would be the buy. This date would be the sell, and then this bottom part would be the buy, the next buying point. So are we headed for, one little push up and then a pullback for roughly a year, before we try to take off again? I personally, like I said, would just redraw the geometry to square up, this level to this level and see where the pivots fall. I think that would be most ideal, just because we're getting so far away from the impact zone. I feel like it's a little bit less effective, but I could be completely wrong. But that's why I'll have part 3 of this video. Anyways, I hope that you found this interesting. Maybe you're getting to use this for yourself and testing out the pivot dates. Let me know what you think there in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in another video. Hope you have a great day. Later.